Kareem Jackson. In 1998, Jackson was given the death penalty for the double murder of 19-year-old Antonio Hunter and 23-year-old Terrence Walker at an apartment in Clinton Township on March 25, 1997. Jackson went to rob the males while they were dealing drugs. He and the other robbers took out a cell phone, a little bit of Mary Jane, and $45. Court documents state that Jackson shot the guys after they recognized him and placed a couch cushion over their heads. 3 co-defendants who received 10 to 15-year sentences for their involvement have all been freed from prison. Jackson's execution date is presently scheduled for December 2025. Though he had previously been set for execution, he has been granted reprieves, most recently in 2022. Nathaniel Jackson. Jackson and Donna Roberts were found guilty of killing her ex-husband, Robert Fingerhut, in Howland in 2001. The goal was to get the money from life insurance. Due to pending legal actions, Jackson's execution date has not been set. Anthony Kirkland. Between 2006 and 2009, he essayed, strangled, and burned the bodies of 4 women. Kirkland previously served 16 years in prison for killing his lover by assaulting, strangling, and burning her. In addition to 2 sentences of 70 years to life, he was also given 2 death sentences. Michael Madison. When police responded to complaints of a bad smell on July 19, 2013, they found a woman's decaying body inside the garage that Madison had rented. 2 more bodies were discovered in the area the following day, one in a vacant house's basement and the other in a backyard. They were all in plastic bags. Police discovered further evidence of decomposition in Madison's flat after securing a search warrant. Madison was brought into custody without incident following a brief confrontation with police at his mother's home. The victims were 28-year-old Shatisha Shealy, who went missing in September 2012. In June 2013, 38-year-old Cleveland resident Angela Deskins went missing. On July 10, 2013, 18-year-old Sherelda Ellen Terry was last seen leaving Cleveland Elementary School, where she worked as a summer employee. David Martin. Martin was given the death penalty for killing Jeremy Cole during a robbery in Warren in 2012. During the incident, Martin also shot and wounded a female victim. Due to pending appeals, his execution date has not yet been set. Gregory McKnight. From May to November 2000, he killed 2 people and concealed their bodies on his property in Vinton County, Ohio. This came after he was released from prison for the 1992 murder of a man in Columbus when he was just a teenager. Jonathan Monroe. In 2002, Monroe was sentenced to death for the murders of DeCarla Quincy, 33, and Trevina Simmons, 31. According to court documents, Monroe believed Quincy had access to a lot of money and drugs, so he and an accomplice went to Quincy's flat. Monroe tormented the 2 women and made the accomplice tie them up before shooting them in the head and slitting their throats. Currently, Monroe's case is being appealed. In addition, he has a life sentence for a 1999 murder. Austin Myers. Myers became the youngest inmate on death row in Ohio at the time of his sentence. He orchestrated the murder of 18-year-old Justin Back in order to steal a safe from his house. Myers and Back had attended the same middle school together and were childhood friends. I'm gonna do a separate video regarding this case. Jason Robb. Robb's involvement in a riot at the Southern Ohio Correctional Facility earned him a death sentence in 1995. Due to the possible dispute in Scioto County, Robb's case was transferred to Franklin County. A gang of prisoners had rioted at the Lucasville prison in 1993. Court documents revealed that Robb, the head of the jail's Aryan Brotherhood gang, and 2 other prisoners ordered other inmates to strangle state prison guard Robert Vallandigham, 40, during the incident. Robb organized for fellow inmate David Summers, 31, to be fatally stabbed, strangled, and beaten 6 days later. At the time of the assault, Robb was incarcerated for voluntary manslaughter. The death penalty was applied to 4 other prisoners who were engaged in the killings. All 5 men's cases are still being appealed. William Sapp. In 1992 and 1993, he killed 3 women and girls in Springfield, Ohio. He also attempted to kill another woman, and he may have killed a 4th in Florida. Sapp had served time in prison for a previous essay before being arrested for the killings in 1996. He essayed and murdered 11-year-old Martha Leach and 12-year-old Free Morrow in 1992. 1 year later, he murdered 31-year-old Belinda Anderson. Raymond Twyford. He and an accomplice, Daniel Eichelberry, killed Richard Franks, 37, in Jefferson County, Ohio, in the fall of 1992. A 13-year-old girl and an 18-year-old female were allegedly essayed by Franks. The girls were the daughters of Twyford's girlfriend. Franks was shot multiple times in the head and his hands were cut off to prevent police from identifying the body. Warren Wadey. Several years after Ohio's death punishment was reinstated in 1981, Wadey was given a death sentence in 1987. He stormed into Paula Mason's apartment on July 18, 1986, tied her up, beat her, and then strangled her with a jump rope. Mason was 22 at the time. According to court documents, Wadey then took Mason's car and credit cards. In addition, he was found guilty of multiple other essays and break-ins. The case of Wadey is being appealed. Christopher Whitaker. Whitaker abducted, essayed, tortured, and killed 14-year-old Aliana DeFries from Cleveland, Ohio, on January 26, 2017. After taking DeFries to an abandoned house, Whitaker, who had a criminal background that included grand theft, burglary, aggravated robbery, felonious assault, and others, essayed her. A hammer, a screwdriver, a nut driver, a box cutter, and a drill were used to beat and stab her to death. Willie Wilkes. He killed Aurora Wilkins and attempted to kill Alexander Morales Jr. Wilkins was sitting on the front porch of a Park Avenue home on the north side. Morales was holding her baby when Wilkes approached the porch and asked where he could find Wilkins's brother. Morales stated that as he turned to go inside the house, Wilkes shot him. Wilkins tried to grab the baby, and Wilkes shot her once in the head, killing her. Andre Williams. In 1989, Williams received a death sentence for the home invasion that killed George Melnick, 65, of Warren, as well as for the attempted essay, beating, and causing the loss of vision of Melnick's wife, Catherine. James Worley. In Delta, Ohio, Sierra Joggin was kidnapped and killed. 3 days after going missing on July 19, 2016, she was discovered dead. James Dean Worley, her attacker, was found guilty and given a death sentence for the murder and more than 20 years in prison for the assault, kidnapping, and other offenses. At the time of Joggins's murder, Worley was not included in any state or federal offender databases and had previously been found guilty and imprisoned for the attack and attempted kidnapping of another lady under remarkably identical circumstances. However, he was released after 3 years. Robert Williams, Jr. On what appeared to be a typical fall day, Deborah Blaine, a 24-year-old waitress and mother of 2, reported to work at Stone Gables Tavern, a small rural pub in northern Trumbull County, at 6 p.m. on November 7, 1988. She arrived at work and waited on a few clients after her boss left at around 7 p.m. Deborah Blaine and her hardly acquainted customer Robert Williams were the only 2 people remaining in the establishment by around 8 p.m. Blaine slapped him and broke his glasses after Williams requested her to give him a titty shot and verbally and sexually assaulted her. After ordering a shrimp dinner and leaving the pub, Williams, now furious, walked home and grabbed a handgun. His shrimp meal was ready when he got back to the pub, but Williams claims it was burned. Following a dispute or altercation, Williams shot the victim twice, once in the back of her body and once in the back of her head. He stopped her as Blaine tried to go to the phone by the kitchen. After getting a knife from the kitchen, he cut her throat. He further claims that he unzipped her pants and raised her blouse, touching her breasts during his bloodletting. Blaine stopped breathing when Williams stood on her throat. Blaine pleaded not to be killed, saying she had 2 small babies.